in this part of the lecture, we are going to talk about reported speech. Reported speech. Now, what is the reported speech all about? Now, reported speech is about reporting something that was said at a previous time. But before we go into the details, we need to explain two concepts. The first one is direct speech, while the second is indirect speech. There are two ways that we can express ourselves. We can express ourselves directly, and we can express a statement indirectly, or we can report what was said by someone else. So what is a direct speech? In a direct speech, the actual words of the speaker are enclosed in an inverted comma. If you want to know what was said by a particular speaker, the actual words used by the speaker are usually what? Enclosed in an inverted comma. Let's consider an example. I am ready, she said. Now, in this sentence, the actual words of the speaker are the ones that are enclosed in an inverted comma. I am ready. So this is called his direct speech. So how do you recognize the direct speech? In the direct speech, the actual words of the speaker are always enclosed. So this is called his direct speech. So how do you recognize the direct speech? In the direct speech, the actual words of the speaker are always enclosed in an inverted comma. What you have here, this is direct speech. This is what we call the reporting clause. The reporting clause. Let's consider another example. The children have already eaten. The woman said. The woman said. Now, the actual words of this woman are the ones that are enclosed in the inverted comma. The woman, the children are already eating. Those are the exact words used by what? By the woman. And that's what we call the direct speech. While the reporting clause in this sentence is what? Is the woman said. So once again, in the direct speech, the actual words of the speaker are always enclosed in an inverted comma. Now let's look at an indirect speech. What is an indirect speech? Now, in an indirect speech, the exact words used by the speaker are never, I will say that again, are never enclosed in an inverted comma. Instead, they are incorporated into what we call a that clause. A that clause and forms part of the element of the sentence. The actual words of the speaker in an indirect speech are never what? Enclosed in an inverted comma. Instead, they are incorporated into what we call a that clause and forms an element within the sentence. Now, in the case of an indirect speech, the words of the speaker are not enclosed in an inverted comma. They are incorporated, like I said before, into a that clause. What is a that clause? A that clause is a clause that is introduced by that. And it forms a sentence, it forms an element within what? The sentence. So if we want to consider the first example we have here, if I want to report this, it becomes, she said that she was ready. She said that she was ready. I am ready in the direct speech because that she was ready. it becomes a that clause. A clause introduced by that. And it becomes an element within the sentence. This is a subject, said is a verb, that she was ready is a complement. What she said. So it becomes an element within the sentence. If you look at the second example, the children have already eaten, the woman said. If I want to report that, it becomes the woman said that the children had already eaten. So, the children had already eaten becomes that the children had already eaten. So, instead of using an inverted comma or quotation mark to enclose direct words of the speaker, what we now do is that the words of the speaker, the exact words of the speaker, are now incorporated into a that clause. And they become a part, an element within what? The sentence. So, a direct speech makes the word of an inverted comma, while an indirect speech makes the word a that clause. So that is that about direct and indirect speech. Now, when you want to change a direct speech into an indirect speech, remember I said that a direct speech is made up of the actual words of the speaker, then followed by what? The reporting clause. The reporting clause is made up of two elements. Here we have the subject, and here you have what? The verb. The verb is now called the reporting verb. So said is a reporting verb here. So let me make it clearer for us to see. Let's do it this way. I am ready, she said. Now, like I said before, this I am ready is what? The direct speech, which is enclosed within an inverted comma. While she said is what? The reporting clause. The reporting clause. Now, the reporting clause is made up of two elements. Number one is the subject, and number two, the reporting verb. The reporting verb. Now, whenever you want to convert a direct speech into an indirect speech, the most important element to be noted is the reporting verb. The reporting verb. The reporting verb determines whether there will be a change of tense in the words we are reporting or not. That is why it is the most important element when we are changing a direct speech into an indirect speech. Now, there are two rules that we need to also consider in this case. What are the two rules? Number one, rules concerning what? The reporting verb. Rule concerning the reporting verb. Reporting verb. Number one. Now, when the reporting verb is in present tense, when the reporting verb is in present tense, present perfect tense or future tense. Now, there will be no change of tense in the words we are reporting. I will take that again. When your reporting verb is in present tense, present perfect tense, or future tense, there will be no change of tense. No change of tense in the words you are what? Reporting. Now, let's consider some examples. Number one. The baby is crying. The baby is crying. She said. Another example. I am sorry. He said. The baby is crying, she said. and I am sorry, she said. Now, when your reporting verb is in present tense, so instead of said here, we now have either say or says. That is present tense. So when your reporting verb is in present tense, there will be no change of tense in the words you are reporting. So instead of said here, I now say something like, she says, my reporting verb is what? It says. So if I want to report this sentence using what says as my reporting verb, it will now be, she said that the baby is crying. She said that the baby is crying. Now you remember that the verb you have there is what? The tense you have there is present continuous tense. When I use the present tense as my reporting verb, I still maintain the present continuous tense in my reported speech. So I will not change this tense from present continuous tense. I still maintain present continuous tense. Why? Because my reporting verb is in present tense, says. So she said that the baby is crying. We retain the present continuous tense. Look at the second example. I am sorry, he said. Now, if my reporting verb is says now, so I will say, he says, once again I'm using present tense instead of said. He says that, this I will turn to he. He is sorry. He says that he is sorry. Now, what only changes here is the person of the subject. Who is sorry? He is sorry. So that's why I change this I to he. Who said that he's sorry? He said that he's sorry. So that's why I say he said that he is sorry. I still maintain the present tense am. Am is still what? Present tense here. But instead of am, I'm using what? Is here. So I am sorry, he said, becomes he said that he is sorry. If you look at my answer here, I have not added that, which shows that what? That is optional. You may include that or you may leave it out. For instance, in the first example, I said that what she said that the baby is crying. I can simply say what? She said the baby is crying. I leave out the that. So that's why I said he says he is sorry. I can as well say he says that he is sorry. So that is what is optional. So what you need to know is that whenever your reporting verb is in present tense, present perfect tense or future tense, there will be no change of tense in the words you are reporting. So that is rule number 1 concerning what? Reporting verb. Now, let's look at the second rule concerning what? The reporting verb. Let's look at the second rule concerning reporting verb. B now. B. When the reporting verb is in past tense, past tense, past perfect tense, past perfect tense, past perfect tense, or conditional tense. Conditional tense. Please, I want you to follow me very, very carefully here. When the reporting verb is in past tense, past perfect tense, or conditional tense, now you are going to have a change of tense. A change of tense is what is necessary. So the action will be viewed as a series of action taking place in the past, and the tense is changed accordingly. That is when the reporting verb is in past tense, past perfect tense, or conditional tense. The action is going to be viewed as a series of events taking place in the past, and the tense is changed accordingly. Remember our example. The baby is crying, she said. The baby is crying, she said. That's reporting the direct speech. If I want to report this using past tense as my reporting verb, said, or it may not be said, it may be explained. It may be what? Observed. As long as those verbs are in past tense, said, explain, observe, and so on and so forth. So, the baby is crying, she said. If I want to report that using a past tense reporting verb, it becomes she said that the baby was crying. She said that the baby was crying. You will notice a change in what you have here and what you had earlier. Now, the present continuous tense here is crying because what? Past continuous tense was crying. Why? Because we have said as our reporting verb. So when the reporting verb is in past tense, then there will be a change of tense. So present continuous tense is crying because what? Was crying. Look at the second example. I am sorry. I am sorry. He said. If I want to report that, using past tense as my reporting verb, it becomes he said that he was sorry. He said that he was sorry. Now, the present tense I have here becomes was. Why? Because my reporting verb is said. So, when your reporting verb is in past tense, past perfect tense, or conditional tense, then you are going to have a change of tense. Like we have just shown us here, present continuous tense becomes what? Past continuous tense. Present tense here becomes what? Past tense here. So these are some of the things that happen whenever we have a reporting verb in the past tense. Now, let's consider an exception. There's an exception to this rule. When you have past tense as a reporting verb. What is the exception to this rule? When you have a past tense as a reporting verb. Now, the exception now.